Hi, welcome to Azure U, and this is Vinny. And today we are going to be discussing how to open a support case from the Azure Gov Portal. The first thing I'd like to mention is on the learn.microsoft.com site, there is a doc that goes over how to create an Azure support request. It mentions the different portal URLs for commercial versus gov, what's included, and unlimited support for subscription management and billing, quota adjustments, and account transfers. But that for technical support, you do need Azure support plan, and I'll go over that a little bit later. It'll also talk about RBAC permissions that are needed in order to create the support plan. Then it'll kind of go over the steps to creating the support request. And if you have any additional questions, there's a bunch of good information in here, good starting point. So today I have the Azure Gov Portal open, and this is kind of what you would normally see, portal.azure.us. And if you're needing to open a support case, all you have to do is up in the top right, you'll see a little question mark with a circle that says support plus troubleshooting. You can just click on that. This will open the support and troubleshooting center here. So first thing you can do is if you'd like to get some self-help, you can go ahead and describe your issue. It'll try to help provide some guidance for your issue. But if you're specifically just looking to open a support case, you can just type in support case and just hit go. Next, you'll need to provide what service you're having an issue with. If you're having an issue with billing, looking for quota increase, and a whole bunch of other services within the Azure platform. Now, something to note here is by default, if you do not have a technical support plan with Azure, you will not see most of these services here. Instead, you will just see billing and subscription management and service and subscription limits, right? So if you don't see any of the other ones down here that you're needing assistance with, right? You can go to azure.microsoft.com, and you can get to the support plan by clicking on support here. And you can just click on support plans and compare plans. And so this is going to kind of go over the various support plans that Microsoft offers. By default, everybody who has a Azure subscription is getting billing and subscription management support for free, right? They can get some 24/7 self-help resources, how-tos, documentation, access to QAs, things of that nature. But you'll see down here access to technical support by email, phone, or chat after submitting a request, after a support request is submitted, is really only available for customers with a paid support plan. Now, there are various levels of support plans that, Microsoft offers. $29 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, and then unified, right? So all of these kind of are meant to fit your budget and what you're looking for. Things to note is like unified contracts, they'll support coverage for more than just Azure, right? M365, Dynamics, and various other Microsoft technologies. So, depending upon what you're looking for, this may be a better option. You know, again, this is going to be kind of reaching out to somebody to identify what level of support you're looking for, and they'll be able to provide you with like a quote basically. But, a standard developer, $29 a month, that will get you technical support. Now, it does have a specific severity level that you're allowed to open at, which is Sev C. So generally, you'll have a response from somebody within 8 business hours. That's not always the case, but that's what they try to get to. Again, based off of what level of support you're paying for, it may increase, right? 24/7 support versus only support during business hours. You'll get different severity levels, which have different times in which response times, basically, right? And you know, once you get into the higher tier, being on the unified contract, you can actually get access to cloud solutions architects who can assist in providing guidance on exactly how to architect a specific, solution you're looking to achieve, right? Generally, you'll just have general guidance. Most of all this can be found within the Microsoft Learn docs, right? So, um, not a whole lot on the lower tiers, but you still get support. So if we come back here, we'll just say, we'll look for function app, right? So next thing, what resource are you having issues with? So you'll just select your subscription. We'll look for a function app, right? And then kind of a general, what is the issue you're having with, right? If I was having outbound connectivity to private or integrated networks, if I was having web app down or reporting errors, anything like that, you can kind of put in here. You can do none of the above, and it kind of gives you a better pop out of what you're specifically looking for, right? If your issue wasn't within these, but you were having issues with web jobs or authentication and authorization, application code deployment, various other issues. So we'll just say I'm having issues with configuration management. We'll then provide a problem subtype, right? So say I'm having an issue with scaling, right? You just hit next. It'll, of course, pop up with some great information if you were trying to get some information here. I'll just kind of expand the whole page so everybody can see. Again, you can just scroll all the way down to the bottom, hit contact support, and create a support request. Or all the way at the top, you'll be able to hit create a support request. This will take you to opening your support request here. Right. So we'll just say, okay, so this is the issues that we're having. We'll just hit next. Now, it'll generally try to provide you with some guidance here on how to fix this and resolve this issue by yourself. We'll just hit back to the previous page. We'll just hit next. Additional details, if you were problem start time, if you're not sure, you can just use the current time. Are you having an issue with manual scaling, auto scaling, automatic scaling, or pre-app scaling, right? So then it asks you some questions to get a better idea of what you're doing. So generally providing as much detail as you can is better, especially up front. Does this issue happen when you change SKU or not, right? We'll just go with no, right? Does this issue happen when you change or increase the number of instances? Yes. Please explain how the scaling is being triggered. This is critical because there are a million ways to do the same thing in Azure, right? So if the support engineer needed to do a reproduction of your issue, they have some steps to follow, or they at least know where to start, right? We'll say Azure Portal. This is a demo. If you had any screenshots you wanted to attach, you can. The next thing is allow collection of advanced diagnostic information. It is generally recommended to select yes. The reason for that is the support engineers on the back end have access to limited access to read only data, um, which makes it a little bit easier when they're trying to troubleshoot your issue. Um, if you prefer, you can say no, um, but on the back end, the support engineers will not have access to some of their tooling to help with the troubleshooting efforts, right? Um, you can then set the minimum impact, your email, and your language. You'll be able to provide your first name, your last name, your email. If you wanted to provide a phone number, and then you can save contact changes for the future, right? And then you just go ahead and hit next. Would then generate a support request in which, you'd get an email at whatever email address you put in, um, roughly within the range we discussed earlier, right? Um, so for people paying $29 a month, generally they can expect something within 8 business hours. Things to keep in mind is, the business hours versus non-business hours, and then based off of severity. Um, that is probably the easiest and simplest way to create a support request. Again, if you did not have those initial options, um, when creating a support request, right? If you do not have this technical here, you only have billing, service and subscription, or subscription management. That means you do not have a support plan with Azure. And so then you would just go on over to azure.microsoft.com, click on support, and you can get started with purchasing the support, right? One thing to note here on the support and troubleshooting pane, um, if you're on the portal.azure.us, or I should just say the Azure portal, and you go ahead and you open a support case this way, it will look very similar to the same method when you open a support case via, say, Office 365 portal or M365. Um, the difference being that on the back end, when a support case is open through the Azure portal, it will be linked to your tenant, to the subscription, to the correct resources, as well as your support plan, right? As mentioned, if you are going to open a support case through the Azure portal and it does not have the category technical, you do not have a support plan. So cases open through the M365 or Office portal um, will not get transferred to the Azure support team for assistance, because there is no connectivity between the two. And so, as such, if you were looking to get support for Azure, you need to come in and create a support ticket through the portal.azure.us. Um, if you are looking to get support with Office products, you would come in through the Office uh, portal itself. Um, if you were looking for support in any of the other Microsoft services, they all have their own portal. Um, they try to make the support experience as seamless as they can. That the look and feel is going to be the same, but the back end connectivity is just not there.